Flight boss, bitch. For sure. You're not listening to the Mind Eminent Terry Smooth. I'm Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And this is a continuation to the last video, because this just cut me short. I hope I don't start experiencing problems with this. But for the most part, I left off where I was talking about when you emit your own thoughts, right? So this is how you emit your own thoughts. When people want to be like, okay, if I got all these thoughts and this ain't me, then what is me? That's because you don't know yourself. The moment you start to conflict and verse with yourself, the moment you receive thoughts, receive emotions, aka spirits and souls, and the moment you start to resist and develop the mechanism of, do you feel comfortable with this thought or not, right? Then that's you creating in the world your thought and your feeling, aka your frequency and your vibration. So anyone who's vibrating on that frequency is going to be able to catch those ideas, catch your spirits, right? So you're actually helping the universe just by you being consciously aware and emitting your energy out into the world. You see what I'm saying? Now, for the most part, every thought you can even think of, though, at the end of the day, is underneath this Milky Way. It's within this Milky Way. You know what I'm saying? So that's gonna lead us perfectly into the segue that we're going to when you're picking two directions to go into. Now, I have to write this down. Now, going into the Yang realm within the Yin realm. Now, when you access this, you can do two things with all this energy you absorb. Now, we know energy come from a source of light. We know a source of light is a source of a grouping of spirits and souls, or a spirit or soul accumulating a lot of energy that it can for itself. Now, you can either go two ways. Now, you can either go within and create for the lights that you're up under, or you can become your own source of light. Now, we know what light is. Spirit and soul. Now, for an example, you need to understand this. There's no right or wrong to either path, but you're going to understand the deepness of it once I get to it. You see what I'm saying? Now, we're going to start off with, if you go within to create for the realm of reality you up under. Now, and here's an example for that. Here's an example for that. Now, look, okay, when you apply yourself with the natural laws of how things work. Now, that's just like, for an example, if you want to learn how to engineer, right, then you got to go learn from an engineer. So you learn that realm of reality. So if you got so much passion and so much intuition to be an engineer, you figure out, like, even when it comes to, if you want to drive, right, you need a license to be able to drive on their land. So you're going to by their laws and rules and obligations in order to do something, right? So you're applying by those rules. You see what I'm saying? Same way, that's the same thing with everything, though. Think about it. It's with everything. Some of the most devilish ways you have is things that you are naive to, things that you have accepted to be just normal, things that you just look past, things that just put you in a situation where you just constantly thinking otherwise. But for the most part, you got to understand that when you are doing things in this realm of reality and applying yourself to the way things work, and you accumulating your energy with these things, that's basically what you're doing. You utilizing and emitting your light into the lights that's already appear to be there for you to participate in or to pay attention to. You see what I'm saying? So it just make you think, like, you know what I'm saying? Humans want to pick the things to fight, pick the opposer so much. They want to do things and pick things to fight, but they don't. But a lot of times it be things that you look at as pleasurable every day that might be killing you every day. You see what I'm saying? But for the most part, like, that's just an example of, you know what I'm saying, going within to create something. Like, just a musician. This type of shape or form of music have already been laid out for you, like the music business, not forms of music itself, but the music business. So for you to get effectively into the music business, you have to go accordingly to the way it's structured, right? Or you're not going to find yourself in the music business. You can do music all day, but you ain't going to find yourself in the music business. You see what I'm saying? So that's what we're talking about when you take all your inside ideas and energies and add on to something that's already here. So when people come up with creative ways to come up in the music industry, at the end of the day, all they did was come up with something that they had in the inner realm and came up with a creative way to assert that energy to a realm that's already here. So when you get opposing artists, or artists that's disgruntled, or artists that feel like they've been done wrong, and they start to oppose and rebel, it's because, for what I just said, they you emitted all that energy into something that's already here. That wasn't of your own. Now, it just goes in deep, but it goes on higher levels too. But check this out. What happens is your spirit goes closer to this. When you do these things, like when you look at politicians, the government, and things of that nature, and how things, just look at how the world is ran, and think about yourself. You see the injustices, right? But you also see people doing things that may be wrong to you, but you see it working. And then you always ask yourself, if there's a God, why isn't there no God to stop this, or things of that nature? It's because a lot of times these people are going towards the natural laws, and you always going to play out with the lights you up under. So you up under the light, you're playing out these lights you up under. Those lights is playing out the lights they up under, all the way until you get to the eighth dimensional being, and that's the galaxy. And then the conscious of this galaxy, the eye of it, the conscious of the brain of it, is the center of it. And that light is emitting so much energy that whatever it's around has to go by its laws and agreements and terms and conditions and its imagination. You see what I'm saying? So at the same time, everybody to a certain degree abide by their government. Just really think about that. Think about if you truly, truly, genuinely wanted to just say fuck everything and disoppose everything. That's the type of energy we're talking about here. You're going to start thinking about, well, I can't do this because of this. I can't do that. Start thinking about those which you're saying because for it. And start having those point of references, and those are going to let you know that if you can't even be responsible or understand and break through these kind of shits, will make you think you're going to be able to be some type of power when you become these other things. You see what I'm saying? What you're going to be. I don't know why you think you ain't. You just always going to be controlled under some shit. And that's the trick right there. Now, check this out. So when you abide by these rules, right, which everybody is doing to a certain degree to even keep this galaxy in rotation, same way how people keep people on Earth, keep Earth in rotation, Earth being here, keep it staying in its orbit, help the other planets stay in rotation, the other planets keep the sun in rotation, the sun keep the solar system. You know what I'm saying? It's the same relative type shit. So they're like, God is your relative, nigga. They're the devil, your relatives, nigga. Your ancestors, nigga. But look, check this out. What happens is your spirit goes, when you do this, which is 99% of the world, your spirit goes closer to the center of the solar system. Right? And depending on all the vessels you inhabited and all the ideas and vibrations that you had get sucked in and ate and spit back out more than what it was before, to repeat the same process again to help make the galaxy bigger. So what this means is, like a person like me, right? And say I'm doing all this, but I'm in y'all galaxy, right? Because y'all see me, right? So I'm abiding by certain laws and shit here still to a certain degree anyway, to a smaller degree even on this planet. So in so many ways, shape, or form, I'm staying in orbit in this whole totality of a galaxy. I'm staying in this spiral wave. You know what I'm saying? To a certain degree. So whether how much I want to be opposing and rebellion and go my own direction in the wave, I'm going to get hit by asteroids and shit because I'm still in this wave. So I may experience obstacles, situations, and hurdles for me to actually do what I want to do, if what I actually want to do is opposing the actual energy. See, now when we get through this, you're going to start to understand how this is going on within society and America and everything with opposing people and rebellious people. Now, when you going by this and you using your own consciousness awareness for this consciousness, this is how the galaxy eats. The same way how planets eat when you give it your energy, the same way how the galaxy eat when solar systems give it energy. So if you in a certain solar system and you're predicated to doing things in that realm of reality, this is how it eats. So you bring in the astral plane, your spirit and soul gets closer to that, and when it eats, you get spit back out, but more than what you was before. So you're able to have more knowledge, more into density. You may be a heavy star, or heavy planet, heavy asteroid, or a human that got a lot of consciousness, but it's just to support the idea that you're already in. You You see what I'm saying? It's no good or bad thing to this. You see what I'm saying? It's still people getting consciously elevated. You see what I'm saying? Now, so you become your own source. You become your own source, but for the source. You become your own source, but for the source. And you are given a purpose. So a lot of times, depending on how much consciously aware you are, that's how much energy you can carry, how much spirit and soul you can carry. So you can be used as a vessel. You can become a giant. You can become a big star because you're able to have a big consciousness awareness. You're able to go across a lot more people. But for what agenda? You see what I'm saying? So you become your own source, but for the source, and you are given a purpose now. See, that purpose could be good for you in your life. It can be pleasurable. So that's what I'm saying. There's no good or bad for this. You know what I'm saying? Your realm of reality is things that you get up and work for every day to get that paycheck and to pleasure yourself. That's the same way as up here, but I'm talking about that shit right now on the highest conscious. You see what I'm saying? Now that you're given a purpose, this could be an idea or an agenda. Now listen, that whole description I just gave you, that I was just talking about applying yourself with these laws, right? To go in your inner world to apply yourself with these laws to stay in this rotation. What happens now is, that was the purest description of being whatever you want to be, but in the external realm, but in the internal realm. You see what I'm saying? So that was the purest description of being whatever you want to be, but in the internal realm. You see what I'm saying? So you see it. So being a source. Now being a source. Now that was the purest description of being whatever you want to be in the internal realm. So in this realm of reality, they always make you feel like you need to go within, right? This is the purest concept I'm trying to give to you of saying that this is how you see the yang realm within the yin realm. You see what I'm saying? That's how you see the yang realm and the yin realm now. Because it's almost like it's all still the same shit, just in the same realm of reality. You see what I'm saying? So that was the purest description of being whatever you want to be in the internal realm. So, for example, you here right now, you feel like you got limits and obligations. You got limits and restrictions because you're in the vessel that you're in or whatever like that. But what do they always say? You have to go within. So when you go within, what happens? You can be whatever you want to be. You can think whatever you want to think, and you can emit enough currency here and build enough resistance and currency to able to move through this wave and be what you want to be at the same time in the compounds of the limits and restrictions that you're within. You see what I'm saying? So at the same time, you might think going within is a good thing, but I'm here telling you how it still could be a bad thing. And there's an external realm and the internal realm. See what I'm saying? Now, and this is how you start to see glimpses of it, what I'm talking about right now. Now, let's talk about the other scenario, the other route. Now, a disclaimer. This is the route I'm taking. You see what I'm saying? But it takes a lot of responsibility. And if you're a person who can't even handle a lot of responsibilities here, which I need to learn to do that, then you may not even understand this concept. Now, check this out. Now, the more you go against natural laws of the galaxy, it will push your spirit further and further away from the center. You see what I'm saying? Because it can't eat that. That's like something like, say you eat something that you didn't really want to eat. You eat something that disagrees with your body, right? You're going to want to get it out your system as soon as possible. Whether you got to pee, shit it out, go to the hospital, get surgery or whatever. You're going to want to get it out. So that's kind of like what you start acting to this overall idea when that happens, right? So that's like, so for an example, going against all natural laws. You're doing something like me. You saying, fuck the sun. You know what I'm saying? You ain't going against the terms and agreements of all the illusions that's under here. It could be an illusion that's so bright it'll seem like it's right here, right? But it's still under a conscious realm of reality that's just a conscious being. And it's more shit out here. So I'm saying once you start to get in that realm of reality, you start to not stop giving a fuck about the shit that's good for you, because you start to know that everything is just an experience. Everything's just energy playing out anyway. You see what I'm saying? So this is when you start to get in the mind frame when you can start to take in a whole lot of conscious, a whole lot of darkness, a whole lot of shit that may not even appear to in any of these realities. You see what I'm saying? Now, so it pushes you further and further away. Now, the further and further away you are from any center, just like this center, the sun is this center. So it's playing out like the galaxy role. It's playing out like an 8th dimensional being role in a smaller reality. You know what I'm saying? So this shit the sun don't even know. You see what I'm saying? The sun is a 6th dimensional being. So look, check this out. When when the further you go away from the center is the less light, aka life, less spirit, less soul, you know what I'm saying? And whatever vessel you are in will be left to survive on its own, right? So for an example, think about when you being rebellious against shit here. You being rebellious against society. You get disowned by your family in some type of way. You get disowned by society. You get placed in jail. You know what I'm saying? You get looked at as rebellious. You get looked at as crazy. You see what I'm saying? So you're showing energies, and the lights that you are under, you are not compensating your light effectively with it. So you're causing friction. You're not causing relatability with the friction. You're causing opposing energy with the friction. So you're getting on a polar opposite side of the relatability energy, period, in this realm of reality, in this galaxy. You see what I'm saying? So on the astral plane, it looks like your spiral getting pushed. The more like this may take hundreds of years. Also, this may take thousands of years. Also, you may experience a whole bunch of different vessels in different dimensions. Also, as this go on, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully, you become a planet or a star or something like that. So you don't be no fish or something get wiped away and be spiritless and get dissipated. You know what I'm saying? Because this being that figured out ways how to dissipate spirits. You think energy can't be destroyed? Shit, it's ways to destroy energy because energy was created. See what I'm saying? See, that's some new shit. And when you in the yang realm, within the yin realm, energy can be destroyed. In this realm, energy can't be destroyed. It only can be reciprocated. When you go in the yin realm, you go in the yang realm. In that realm, energy can be destroyed. Nigga, your energy can be dissipated. Nigga, definitely, whatever word it is. Nigga, same way you got some spiritless soul people here playing out like that now. You got beings that's just nothing. They really nothing. They become nothing. And these beings know how to do that shit, so be aware of that shit. Now, and we got traces and examples of them lights now by people being represented here on Earth, not having a spirit or soul. You know what I'm saying? Not being able to understand metaphor or idea, or not able to vibrate right in the world. You see what I'm saying? Now, when you got so in an astral plane, it just looked like your spirit. Say this the spiral, right? And say everybody keep going getting sucked in and spit out, and stand in the spiral, right? The opposing whatever vessel you take start to drift off, start to have no support. You start to leave rotation. You don't have no rotation. So you start to eventually, hundreds of thousands of years, you're gonna be shitted out to the point that you ain't got no source of light. So it's important at this time to have enough consciousness awareness to create your own source of light if you're taking this route. That's if you're taking this route. And that's what my channel is for. You see what I'm saying? Now, see, look. You're going against the illusion. When you're doing all this, you're basically fighting against all the thoughts and feelings that you're receiving in this realm of reality, under this galaxy, or in whatever solar system you're under. So basically, to this galaxy, what it's looking like, you're being negligent to its overall idea. So that's basically what you're doing. So basically, you're in the training to become your own idea, in this idea of being your own idea. So if something feel like it made you, and now you feel like you want to have your own idea, but you want to leave the nest. Imagine how that can be. Imagine doing that here now, but imagine how that can be up there. See what I'm saying? And you're going to be doing that spiritually, which you already are. So you're going to be on your own. Once you start detaching yourself from all these realms of realities and shit, you better realize you're going to be on your motherfucking own. So don't You can't be thinking about being successful. You can't see people who dive truly into this. Hopefully they do not, and I don't give them terms and conditions of hopefully, but you know what I'm saying? If they do become successful and things like that, that means they built enough currency of their own. They're becoming their own source. But this is what you're here to do, and this is what you're blinded to see. But I don't want to say this is what you're here to do. Like I said, it's both polar roles. You can either take the first role or this role. It's how much you're willing to handle. You see what I'm saying? Now here's the key. If you're on a rebellious path because you found out who you really are, or where you really came from, because you might be from another galaxy anyway and got wrapped up in this one. It has been fucked up for hundreds and thousands of billions of years in all these vessels. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of beings here that's like that, like me. See what I'm saying? But look, check this out. Then you have to develop enough consciousness awareness and vibration, aka spirit and soul, aka which is light, and which will give you enough mass in the astral plane to be able to be your own source and rotation. You know what I'm saying? So once you develop enough to be your own source, you develop enough spirit. You came across so many people that cling to your ideas, so many people that cling to your vibration. You see what I'm saying? Now you shining so bright, you emit so much energy, you got your own mass in the astral plane. You a big ass giant monster, dragon soul, you know what I'm saying, spirit in the astral plane. You know what I'm saying? Now, and you can be whatever you want to be. You can be a planet, star, you can be whatever you want to be at this point, you know what I'm saying? But you some new shit. You know what I'm saying? They don't like that shit. You going against tides and shit. You going against realms of realities. They don't like that shit. You know what I'm saying? But look, it's big. You know what I'm saying? Once you become that, you know what I'm saying? You end up, that's how you be your own source. So that when humans play that out down here, that's like humans who take their own direction. They don't give a fuck how much you offer them. You offer them $1 million, $10 million, they still willing to take their own direction. People who got that much, that mean they really don't care about this. They really don't care about the support or these light illusions. They really don't give a fuck about their own light and illusion. And a lot of times it's going to seem very small in a big ass light and illusion that everybody agree to the terms and conditions on. You know what I'm saying? But if that person experienced enough years and experience enough vessels of doing that over and over again, that motherfucker have no choice. That spirit and soul of that motherfucker have no choice but to come into a big ass vessel. You see what I'm saying? It don't have to, like, you know what I'm saying? It got no choice. No choice. So it may take trillions of years, but like I said, whatever you're doing now, you've always been doing this. Ain't no present, ain't no future. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no past, ain't no future. It's always the present. Ain't no life. It's just life. Ain't no death. When you die, you transform and go into another vessel. And you go into the vessel that you're vibrating with. You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, you always was living. So what you're doing now, you always was doing that. So if you was a sheep now, you always was a sheep. If you was a spiritual warrior now, you always was a spiritual warrior. Now, it's all about the present. So what you're doing now depends on what's going to happen in the future and depends on what you're going to leave in the past. So if you've been doing something and you know you need to change it now. So how you know when you transform and go into another vessel, you know you always been changing. You know what I'm saying? If you're a person that's dependent on changing or conviction. You know what I'm saying? But if you're not, you know you always been stagnant. It's this, what you do, it's always about the present. What you doing now, you always, so if you're a person who want to learn now, then you're a person who every vessel you've been in, you wanted to learn. So depending on how much you're able to learn in whatever vessel that you're in, depending on the realm of reality that you're in, which right now you in 3D in a human vessel, that's going to let you know what you always been doing. So how much you know now is how much you always know. How much you help people now is how much people always probably needed help around you. How much you needed help is how much you probably needed help in every realm of reality you've been in. You see what I'm saying? So you're here to, in the present, to learn what you know is not right and know what's right, to do it now so you can always be doing that. No matter when you on a higher scale or the lower scale. So so when I say 1,000 trillion years, y'all probably thinking about it like I ain't thinking about that now because you thinking about it from your human vessel. But I'm telling you, like, that shit ain't nothing. You see what I'm saying? That shit ain't nothing. Y'all better stop thinking about time. That's why y'all scared to death now. See? Now, when we talk about now, so if you do end up being spit away from the galaxy spiral orb, hopefully you will be a vessel that's powerful enough to travel the astral plane in your own direction, without the support of a wave or who you're able to travel And you hold on, yeah, no matter the support of a wave or the cosmic wave or the galaxy wave that spiraled out what you was in, you are able to travel the cosmos freely and experience and learn all realms of realities and create for yourself. Even make yourself part of other galaxies and rotations just to learn they shit and become more powerful. Now look, this is the purest way of learning how to be whatever you want to be in the external realm. See what I'm saying? So that's the difference. That's the difference between, look, now if you want, now when you getting all this energy, the thousands of years that you experience in all these vessels, right? If you want to go within to create for these lights, right? That's the purest description of, manifesting and creating and being whatever you want to be in the internal realm. But you're trained to learn to be something out here externally, right? But they make you go within. So they take all your within energy and exert it to what they want you to be externally. See what I'm saying? So this is the game. Like I said, it ain't no right or wrong. So this is the motherfucking game. So if you really talking about you want to be powerful, you really want to be in some motherfucking power, you see what I'm saying? Then a lot of this motherfucking shit you really got to do externally. You really got to take your internal realm and do it externally. You know what I'm saying? Your ass you still can't fly. I bet you I'd be the first human that can motherfucking fly. And I ain't human. I don't read on terms and conditions. But like I was saying, fly without no plane. But this what they made y'all think. You know you can fly, but you assert all that energy to create a plane. Now you need something to fly. So now you think you created something that you fly. When really, you see what I'm saying? You see the dilemma in the both? When really, you're supposed to see what they're doing in the external realm and be able to do that in this fucking body. That's why wherever I'm going in this body. See what I'm saying? So at this point, you have to be completely self-liable, responsible for everything, supportive of self. Like down to the degree of having your own language, your own frequency vibrations, your own emotions, your own concepts, your own ways of life, creation itself. See what I'm saying? Now I hope I can't bring everything into words, but you know my soul group was able to correlate this into how this plays out in existence every day. But you know what I'm saying? That's what I just really need to get off though. But Flight Boss bitch, goddamn, air.